Hello viewers of Sawa Network, welcome to the weekly forum, a program that discusses and elevates the voices of peace builders in the country. My name is Jumma, Maidodo, and today we shall be looking at the entertainment industry. We shall focus more on the comedy part, and to join me in the program is the comedian Akau Jambo Pondak. He will take us through on the part of comedy in South Sudan. Mr. Akau, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
As I just mentioned that you're a comedian,
yes,
but I want you to at least share with our viewers more about who exactly is comedian Akau and why you chose to join comedy.
Yes, my name is Akau Jambo. I'm a South Sudanese stand-up comedian. I've been doing comedy for about 6 years now. Yeah, now I started doing comedy in Uganda, and then I started rotating between Uganda, Kenya, Rwanda, South Africa when I just started out. Yeah, so that's basically me.
And when you came to South Sudan, you came with the same vision of actually engaging and continuing with the comedy in South Sudan. And of late, we have seen your writings a lot about which I will use the word complain about the promotion companies and the social media blog companies in South Sudan. What is your take on that?
I actually started coming to South Sudan because, you know, everyone, whatever, there are people still living out of South Sudan. They have not come to South Sudan not because they don't like South Sudan. It's because they have not yet found a reason to come here. A lot of people came here to get passports and they left. And then there are people who find their calling and they see a gap and they say, okay, this is what I can do back home. Then they come back. People have come, people are coming every day, other people have not come. I came here because that was my calling. That's the space that I saw. And I said, this is what I need to embark on. And yes, I've been here. I'm going into maybe the second year in South Sudan now. Okay. By November, I'll be making the second year in South Sudan. And yeah, I really found a very huge, what I would call disproportionality in the media houses when it comes to artists and art in general. You find that people want to elevate the voices of negative news, and they want to bury or step on the voices of positive news. If you do something great, nobody talks about it. If you do something wrong, because we're not perfect, we make mistakes. You do something wrong, everyone talks about it. So I came out and said, hey man, if anyone does that to me, I'm not going to like it. Yeah.
As you put it, that you have been here for at least 2 years now, or you're going to 2 years.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you have seen some of the challenges facing the entertainment industry in South Sudan. I don't want us to talk more about the wider entertainment, but maybe focus more on the comedy part. What are some of the challenges that you have just noticed in your short time when you came to South Sudan?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge is it cuts across everyone else that's trying to do it in forms of art. But speaking from a perspective of a comedian, the biggest challenge is art in general is not as glorified as it should be. Like here in South Sudan, when somebody sees an artist or finds out you have these dreads or you're an artist and all that, you're looked at as something they call niggers. They don't even know the meaning of that, but they call me nigger. They call people nigger because of this and all of that, and they think we are thugs, we're useless people in society. But they don't know that we actually have a lot to contribute to the society. The same way that people like Emmanuel Kembe, Nyan Kurumatiang, Arop Kwolnyok contributed to the liberation of this country, and also the SPLM used songs to entertain themselves and move from one point to the other as they were liberating the country. It's the same way we're doing the same thing. It's just art is part of the society. Music, comedy, painting, poetry is part of the society. There used to be comedians before I was there. Even in 100 years ago, there is that uncle that is always making people laugh. That uncle is a comedian. The only reason why you don't think he's a comedian is because he does not use the word comedian and all that. Yeah, the comedian language is just an English word. Just because English has brought the word doesn't mean we do not have that person. We have that person. We have people, when you're young, you sit down, someone tells stories, that's poetry, there is comedy, there's music. A lot of arts have always been part of our society. That's how we know, that's how we transport our culture. We don't have books to write down cultures, songs, poetry through elders and all that. So I think there needs to be a more positive attitude towards artists. Yeah.
And amid these challenges, you are keeping on. with your dream or with whatever you've already started, which is comedy.
Yeah.
How are you handling this?
Because we have to come to terms with the fact that the whole country is under construction. People are doing things from different angles. Some things are being ignored, but it's a construction site. It's a mess. We are still figuring out. So if you have your own problems, do not stop constructing because nobody is paying attention, because the main engineer is not paying attention to it. Continue constructing. With time, everything will catch up. We shall all do something. We shall all be able to progress. Of course, people will say that our focus is the health sector. Our focus is the education sector. Yeah, they have a point. And though I believe all those things can coexist, they have a point. Health before anything. So as the health sector is trying to find its ways, the arts, the cultural sector should not sit down. Because if it is supposed to sit down, then we don't need a cultural ministry for the next 10 years until the health sector is fit. So we just need to keep on moving with the little resources or the little support we get around. We keep on moving until there is enough for us to just move on.
And now, I'm sure you have organized within your 1 year plus or the 2 years, you have organized 2 comedy shows in Juba. I really want to know, before maybe we go into detail of this, why are you focusing so much on organize? You have organized 2 shows in Juba now. Why is your focus so much in Juba, not other parts of South Sudan?
Just saying, it's important to put it out there that we are so centered. We are so centered in Juba. Much as we want to theoretically say that South Sudan is bigger than Juba, you can also see every focus is in Juba. I need facilities, infrastructure, so many other things for me to be able to do things outside Juba. But at this point, we only have this one bubble where you can only do whatever you need to do with the little resources you have and pull it off. But if I go to other places, I need double, thrice of those resources. We need to also assess and see that society we're going in, how caught up is it in terms of development, and how much can we be able to put there. Maybe what they need now is not even a comedy show. Maybe things are not like this or like that the way they should be. I've traveled. I went to Yerul where people had a problem that I had dreadlocks. So it's not even their problem. It's the society has not yet been caught up with the fact that there are people in Juba that you can be an artist and be the way you are. You're seeing what's happening in Bor town. How do you expect artists to go to Bor and get clearance to even do a show? Even doing a show in Juba here is a problem. You need clearance from here and there. So how are you going to be able to do those things? So I think for now, we need to just grow with the wave. The wave is setting standards and we're just going slowly. We can stretch a bit with support of other organizations that are already operating in such spaces. We can partner with them, go do an event like the way I went to Rumbek to go do a campaign with ICAP Global Health about HIV and all of that. As an artist, that's the type of support I can give because I have a backup that can make me. If I go to Rumbek and do it on my own, it's probably going to get some little bit of chaos to be able to pull it off. So these are things that hinder us from moving from this space that we're working in.
What is your experience in the 2 comedy shows you've organized in Juba? Can you just take us through your experience? Because I know you organized one last year, May, and this year again. So how has the experience been for you?
I mean, it gets better. It's pretty good, but it gets better from the last one. We had a few mistakes, a few things, but I also managed to also get a team while I was going over the way, and then we were able to also pull this thing off. It's just we just came to terms with the fact that we are working to set a foundation up. Because these shows need a lot of things. They need a lot of support financially. I'm lucky that the Dutch Embassy and MTN South Sudan jumped on board, Lolding Foundation and other partners jumped on board and supported the show. But still, we need a lot of support. Of course, for the next one to also happen, you'll never run a show out of the gate collections or whatever comes from the gate. It's not enough to be able to pull off that show. So we need other partners to step on board. And I'm happy that partners, corporates, organizations, companies are now jumping on board to support art. It's just the beginning, and there are more that are going to come through. The more these people invest and support, the more the art scene will grow.
And how is the response of the people? How is the turn up
It was good.
From the experience from the first show and the second show, how is the turnout of the people?
It was good. The first show was one day, 150 people, I think, something like that. It was a very small show because I had some material. I hadn't done a show in a very long time during COVID, so I had some material that I wanted to put out, and I did it like a small space. Then the second one was a 2-day event. We garnered about 700 people for the 2 days. And it was very, very good energy, mixed South Sudanese, Kenyans, Ugandans, people from the West as well. So it was pretty good.
Just take me from what you said that some of the South Sudanese comedians were there, as you just put it. How is the cooperation between you comedians in the country?
How is the
cooperation? How are you guys cooperating? For example, if another comedian is having a show, maybe in Nyakron, and invited you or invites you to go, how is the response? Or if you also call your fellow comedians to come and join you?
I think there's a misunderstanding that for people to be termed as people who cooperate, you have to always go for what they're doing and all of that.
Okay.
Like it shouldn't be about that. The thing is, we work together when we have projects that need each other to jump on and all of that. Okay. I'm a very different kind of a comedian. I'm an English-speaking comedian. I'm very bad at Arabic. I would never do a single joke in Arabic. Okay. But there's an Arabic comedy scene. I go, I can watch, I love it. I understand a few things. I don't understand a lot, but I understand a few things. And as a comedian, I appreciate the energy and how the people are executing the job. Because when I'm going there, I'm looking at it in a very technical point of view. This is what he did. This is a move with the mic. This is his energy. He reduced his energy at this point, raised it. That's how he managed to get the room. Those are things that I see since I don't understand the language. But I work with other people. I've worked with Wakil a couple of times because Wakil comes to my shows and he tries to do English that he can do. He does it. On that same day when we had the show, there was a pharmaceutical company that wanted me for a show. And I was very busy. I said, no, I can't do it. Wakil will do it. He went and did it. So I think we cooperate enough. Just because if you don't see me at his show, it doesn't mean that we're not helping each other. And there are also other people that we work with and all that.
Okay, I just want you to take you through this language issue because you do comedy in English. I'm aware of this, but majority of South Sudanese speak Arabic. English is not. So how are you coping with this? How do you communicate the jokes? Because I know that some of the people who are attending the show may not be good of English, but of course the country, majority of us understand Arabic. And you have
I don't agree with the majority part. I don't think majority speaks Arabic.
Okay.
Majority wouldn't be speaking Arabic, and English is the official language.
Okay.
I think I think that it's quite proportional, but people are more comfortable with Arabic than English. And it's just about stepping out of your comfort zone. If you love what I offer and all of that, you can come. The people who come to my shows, they don't have, their English is not so good, but they love the brand so much that they're willing to learn and like also they feel like they can still have fun and watch and all of that. So I don't think the language issue is not a big barrier at this point, because it's a big barrier if your mind is in one thing, but it's a very big audience. You can still, if this place does not understand you, step aside a bit and look for people to bring the traffic to your side. So that's why you'll see, you can even put a show here, me a show here, or Kill a show there, or maybe VIP a show somewhere else, and there are people going in all those shows. There's so many people in South Sudan. So language is not an issue.
You mentioned something to do with the promotion of these shows itself that need funding, and you mentioned something about some partners that can really, who are willing to come and support, and of course, since you started this, you have been engaging with the different partners. How is the response of the partners in partnering with the comedy industry?
At first, people didn't want to listen.
Okay.
People did not want to listen at first. You know, the first two shows I did not ask for any sponsors. You remember my last show, there was no sponsor. The first show I did in 2019, there was no sponsor. I wanted to set a brand on myself and like be comfortable with people, the audience that I attract. So by the time I go to a partner or a sponsor, I say, hey, this is what I attract, this is what I offer. Can we partner together and do this? This is what you'll get. Because we don't just go to people's offices and say, give us money to do this. they need to know how they benefit. Say we have an audience of 700 people that will come. We have marketing, blah 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 blah. This is where the money will go, blah blah blah. And if they think they are buying a value out of that, they'll buy it. So at first people were not interested because South Sudan, a lot of corporates do not really see any value in the South Sudan artists industry. They just look at us as jokers. You go to someone's office, you're like, nah, we don't. People have actually told me that I did not think that your show would look like this. People have said it to me, and most of them are not even South Sudanese. People just don't believe in South Sudan. They just think we just like those random jokers they see, you know, those negative videos that fly around and all of that. So for this festival, we were lucky the Dutch embassy jumped on board full swing and said, we are supporting you. Go and look for who else wants to support you, but we're behind you. Okay. We went from office to office. We also landed on MTN. They say, okay, we want to support you. This is what we are offering you. Go and see what else you need to get. Go to Lol Deng Foundation in one sitting. It's like, oh yes, we love this idea. We're giving you this. We're giving you that. Go and pull this off. Then we're like, okay, cool. Let us pull it off. So when we pulled it off, we now have something substantial, something to show.
Okay. And with all this, what is your, okay, what is it? How optimistic are you about the future of comedy in South Sudan?
Very optimistic. There's a blueprint. There's something that has been done. Okay. Something tangible. There's a value that someone can see, and it's about now working hard and keeping that brand and that value. And
you being a comedian now, I'm sure that there are some young comedians who want to actually illuminate your way of thought with this story you're sharing, how you cannot give up. What message do you have for the youngsters, the young comedians who want to come up and want to be like you, or even be better than you in the future?
If they're still in school, first finish school.
Okay.
It's important to finish school, or do whatever you're doing when you're in school. The people who make that mistake that, oh, I can leave school. Steve Jobs did not finish school. Microsoft, nah, you're not Steve Jobs. You're whoever you are, whatever you are. So finish school, concentrate on your studies. Because even comedy, my comedy is a reflection of what I went through, my history, my life, my school, my everything. So at the end of the day, you need these stories to be able to pull off what you want to pull off. And then another thing, listen more.
Okay.
I've met a lot of comedians who don't listen.
Okay.
If I didn't listen, I wouldn't be here. You sit someone down and try to tell them, hey, this is what you have to do and that, and they don't want to listen. They say this, say that. Listen more and talk less.
Mr. Akau, thank you so much for joining us on this show.
You're welcome.
If you have your last message that you want to pass to the audience, please, you're welcome.
Just sending a lot of love and peace to everyone out there that's watching this show. Continue watching, be kind to one another, and God bless you all.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being the program.
Thank you.
Viewers of Sawa Network Weekly Forum, thank you so much. We have come to the end of the program, and as you have heard from my guest, comedian Akau Jambo, the encouragement is there, but for the young generation or the kids outside there that want to join the comedy industry, the message is clear. You first finish your school, finish your studies, and then you are able to join comedy. Please join us next time on this weekly forum, and don't forget to follow our social media pages. Our YouTube is South Sudan Network, also on Facebook, South Sudan Network, and you can also follow our website www.southsudannetwork.org. My name is Jumma Maidodo, and see you next time.